Gotta wait for the stream to kick in. Welcome back to SecurityGuideTV.com and ASI's 2017 Houston, Texas. No, Dallas, Texas. I get all my Texases mixed up. Karen Evans, Silox.com, one of my favorite products. Now, we've done the story before, but you got to tell me the story. You guys have been around a long time.
We have been.
Tell us about that.
38 years.
And you're primarily in school security, is the best way to describe it, right?
We're in school security. We're also in all the other vertical markets with security. Primarily, we've been an access control manufacturer for 38 years. And
When nobody else was making them, really.
And exactly, and about 4 or 5 years ago, we started to design products specifically for schools that have now ventured outside of that into other vertical markets for crisis management and communications.
Oh, interesting. Tell us about that vertical now.
It's a crisis management product that can be used on any device, desktops, laptops, tablets, smartphones. It's browser-based. Initiators could be teachers or faculty or employees that could signal the status of their particular location. Responders would be receiving that information in real time via color-coded maps or chat information, pop-up alarms, video could be pushed to responders, giving them instant information to assess and deploy their resources depending on what the situation is at hand.
And you're the owner.
I'm one of the owners of the company.
Been there a lot, and I kidded you a little bit before the show, and I said, you're a cyber company. He said, no, we're not cyber. I said, listen, you've been on the web and web-based for years before anybody else was doing this. That, to me, makes you a cyber company, although it's interesting you still consider yourself in the physical security.
Right.
And here we are at ASI is talking about this. Where do you see this bridge between the physical and the cyber? And right in the middle, we have people that don't get it. Are you finding your clients are getting it more to understand that we have to work on both of these worlds to make the best security solution for people?
Yeah, there are end users and companies that don't want to go into the cyber world, that want to keep everything on site. There are others that do want to get into the cyber world because they realize the ease of use and potentially the upfront cost savings, and would rather pay for a service ongoing than pay for everything upfront. So it's still a mixed group out there. At least there's solutions for everybody, regardless of what side of the fence they stay on.
Now, I think we skipped a year because I broke my leg and I missed you last year, but the year before that, so it's been 2 years since we talked. What has changed? What are some of the innovations you guys are thinking about and talking about? Where do you see this market going, and where are you trying to take it?
Well, we are, even though we've been access control for a long time, we, in addition to our access solutions, we're constantly talking to partners and end users to do what we call a layered approach.
Okay.
One solution isn't a fix-all. It's the camera, or it's the access, or it's the intercom, or the paging. One of them alone is never going to provide them all the things that they need.
Right.
The thing that they miss the most in most of their designs and their deployments is the communication side of it. So,
isn't that ironic?
I have a problem. Now what?
Right.
How do I communicate with employees? How do I communicate with those that need to know? So that's one of the layers that we are really pushing strongly in writing more and more integration into our solutions to accomplish that full layered approach to a complete solution.
So here's what I find about communication that's interesting. There's never been a better time in human history for us to communicate with each other, and we're not as good as it we've ever been. We're worse at it.
Right.
Right? Yeah. And we find this in corporate communication where, the CEO should be able to push a button and communicate with people, but if he says it wrong, he does the wrong Twitter, if we have a misstep, it's terrible communications that shut things down. It's tragic.
And there's a record now. It's never going to go away.
It's never going to go away. That's right. Just like this show. You're always going to watch it. It's always going to be there. All right. So talk about communication and how your products help make this easy peasy, because it has to be a flow, it has to be easy to use, and it has to be valuable communication, valuable information.
Mm-hmm. We push the communication out depending on the incident that's going on electronically, via email, via text. We could be popping up instructions on anybody's desktop or tablet
that's nice.
or
Okay.
laptop that's relevant to a shelter situation or an evac situation. So we're pushing information out that way. We might be tying to third-party products like sound and paging systems and triggering from a input switch on that system.
Right.
There are pre-programmed announcements for lockdown and shelter or community incident. There's a high-speed chase or something going on. Stay inside, stay secure. And once there's a situation, often you want everyone to be quiet with no noise, and so you don't want the PA systems on. So now the ability to communicate silently comes into play with the chat. either typing the chat messaging in or talk to text if you're in an area where you can talk and still be silent to anybody that may be a threat in the area. So a number of different ways to communicate that information and get information to those, let them know that we're on our way, or gather information from them that will help us with our decisions. So constant communications across any device.
That's fantastic. And your product's a little unusual because people will tell you, I have these 4 things I can communicate with. You just named almost everything except, I don't know, a tin can and a wire almost,
Yeah,
even that.
I can't use a flip phone, but
That's
really
right.
anything else.
That's
If you
fantastic.
If you can access a web page, you can use the device.
Give me some examples of vertical markets you guys deal with, different types of things people might not think about.
Outside the school, we've had quite a bit of interest in the banking community where they want to keep track of whether they have a fraud person at the front counter.
Good point, right?
A robbery, anything like that in line with banking. In the chemical industry, do they have a chemical spill?
Good point,
Push out that information,
Yeah.
either push it out to all employees or allow an employee to check the status and push that information up to those that may not know because their detector hasn't gone off yet. So we're in hospitals, and the nice part about it is they can decide what conditions they are that they want to be aware of.
Yeah.
And they label it and assign the colors to all the various conditions to really accommodate just about every vertical market out
Karen
there.
Evans, Silox.com for my podcast listeners, SIELOX.com.
Correct.
Thanks for coming on SecurityGuideTV.com here at ASIS 2017. So nice to see you again.
So
I'm
nice
so
to
glad
see
you guys
you.
are doing well. Look forward to the next innovation from Silox. I know there's going to be one.
Thank you very
28
much.
years. That's amazing. Unbelievable. Mr. Steve Caroselli, my next guest and my junior technician. You can take us out. We'll be back in a minute here on SecurityGuideTV.com.